All right, welcome back. That latest monthly Treasury report shows spending and revenues for the full fiscal year of 2024, which ended in September, right? That's when it ends for the government. Among the terrible results were this, right? The federal deficit topped $1.8 trillion. That's how much we're in the red this year in 2024, which is the third largest time we've been in the red in history, only eclipsed by the two pandemic panic spending years that we had about 4 years ago. So we're currently spending like we're in a war. But we're not in a war. It's absolutely unsustainable. And that's not for the lack of revenues, which were up by nearly $500 billion this year. Spending under Biden and Harris this fiscal year climbed to more than $617 billion, a 10% increase in the spending. But the real shocker is the explosive growth in interest payments on the national debt. These payments hit $882 billion in fiscal year 2024. This is what the Treasury reported, and that's a 35% jump from last year. That's what happens when you ramp interest rates up like we have. That compounding effect, right? That's $8 billion more than we spent on national defense. Yeah, $8 billion more on interest than we spent on our national defense in a year. Now, we continue to spend on COVID even after it was well in the rearview mirror. That's a lesson to be learned, right? And just to put things into perspective, had the debt continued on its trajectory when Donald Trump left office, it'd be around $300 billion now, not $882 billion, just to give you a reference. Now, I brought my next guest on for his assessment of the situation. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Craig Bolanos. He's the CEO and co-founder of the Wealth Management Group up in Chicago. Craig, thanks for being on the show. Yeah, it's pretty depressing when we now spend more on interest than we do on keeping the country safe. What say you?
Well, yeah, I mean, this debt crisis, it's merely a symptom of the fundamental crisis that you speak to all the time, which is undisciplined spending. And anytime you have government spending that increases faster than GDP, you eventually destroy an economy. Scott, the way I explain it to people is if your family, your personal family, spent 40% more each year than you make, you'd eventually go bankrupt. And that is the train that has left the station. And it's going to have to be a manufacturing and a rejiggerment of entitlements that are ultimately going to be the cure. No one wants to speak the truth, but that's where it's going to fall.
And because people ignore it and nobody speaks the truth, Craig, I mean, you're a wealth manager. There is a point we're going to hit a wall. I mean, it's like I say it all the time. The quote from Ernest Hemingway when he was asked on how he went bankrupt, he says, at first it was just a little bit, then suddenly all at once.
Well, and that's what I'm worried about, Scott. What I'm worried about is this, and it's likely for political reasons that taxes have to go up, but not for reasons that are intrinsic to the problem. Again, notice I said taxes have to go up, but not for reasons that are intrinsic to the problem. We just have a spending problem. I mean, it's high school math. You can't spend dollars that you don't currently earn. So we need to start becoming a lot more choosy. Dare I say, we need to be a lot more intentional and measured with pork belly spending that gets packed into all of these bills. And we need to understand that just as stocks, don't grow to the sky, trees don't grow to the sky, the U.S. government doesn't have a money tree here or there either.
Yeah, and so, I mean, that's the problem. I don't think that we're going to be able to grow our way out of this. They're going to have to cut things, and that's the bottom line. Now, there's going to have to be a different threshold for the retirement age. There's going to have to be a new threshold for what you actually have in there versus what you are making on a daily basis if you're still making money. I mean, we're going to have to redo everything because arguably, if we stay on this track, we will not have anything in that social. I argue that there's nothing in Social Security right now. There's just a bunch of IOUs in there. But if you count the IOUs as cash, we're going to run out of the IOUs in 2034. So in just less than 10 years away, we're going to run out of Social Security. Now, it's always curious that we can run out of Social Security, but we can never run out of money that we're giving Ukraine. Whole nother show, Craig. We'll have you on for that one, too. But which makes me angry is the fact that we're continuing down this path where everybody knows about it, but nobody's willing to speak truth. And at some point in time, we're going to hit a wall doing 90 miles an hour.
And you named them. Medicare and Social Security are the largest unfunded obligations. It's literally 90% of the problem. And when you don't address it, it makes entitlement reform completely unavoidable. I don't want to touch those programs. but we have to modify those programs and modify some of the economics around those programs to make sure the social safety net exists, but that we still have something that is fair and balanced going forward, because we can't throw away the entire U.S. economy, the beacon of the free world, the envy of everyone around the globe, where you can start a business, you can save and invest, you can grow and protect, and all of those things become in jeopardy unless we eventually come to the conclusion that the debt crisis is merely just a symptom of the fundamental crisis that you speak about all the time, which is undisciplined spending.
Yeah.
Notice it's undisciplined spending. It's not spending. It's the spending that's undisciplined.
All right, you got 10, 15 seconds. Anything that we can do as viewers to, gird ourselves for any kind of bumpy roads because of the debt?
This is what elections are for. This is what news broadcasts are for. It's hold our elected officials accountable to be truthful. If our elected officials can be truthful, then we can solve problems. If you can put a man on the moon, if you can put men in orbit, there is no possible way we can't solve this too. Again, we're America, Scott. We solve problems.
I agree. And if we can have a rocket re-land where it launched from, maybe we should put that guy in charge of, wait a minute, isn't he? I think he was put in charge of getting rid of government fat. Okay, anyway, I digress. Thank you very much, Craig, for being on. Craig Bolanos, co-founder and CEO of the Wealth Management Group in Chicago.